All right, to learn more about the others honored by the Vatican today, including a one-time self-proclaimed Satanist, we turn now to Dr. Matthew Bunson, Vice President and Editorial Director of EWTN News. Matthew, always great to be with you.
Great to be with you, especially on a day filled with such great news for us.
Absolutely. Let's talk about this. A former Satanist.
Yes.
And now on his way to sainthood. How does that happen?
Blessed Bartolo Longo, who grew up, as you noted, right at the top of our conversation today with Scott, he grew up in the area of Naples in a very difficult time for Italy. It was called the process of the Risorgimento, the reunification of Italy. And he was drawn away from his Catholic family, his Catholic roots, by the Freemasons and then by the occult, which was very popular at that era. And with it came, of course, severe anti-Christianity, anti-Catholicism. He hated the church. And he eventually was drawn further and further into the occult and described himself as a satanic priest at one point. As invariably happens with those who travel down that road of the dark, of the occult, his life fell apart. His mental state fell apart. His spiritual state was deteriorating by the day. And he had a sudden burst of hope. And he turned to an old friend who sent him in the direction of a Dominican priest, who began this process of restoring his dignity, restoring his life, restoring any chance he had for holiness. And he went about a profound conversion. And one of the great tools for that was the rosary. And it was the rosary that really gave him that added strength to love the church again and to come back to the sacraments.
Yeah, what a great story. And let's talk about the rosary and also his shrine in Pompeii.
Well, that's right. So in 1873, having come back to the church and having really dedicated his life as a propagator of the rosary, John Paul II called him one of the apostles of the rosary. He came across a battered old church and wanted to restore it with the help of a great friend who eventually became his wife, La Contessa Mariana di Fusco. And the two of them spent years rebuilding this church, and then eventually it became so remarkable that they handed it over to the Vatican, basically, and it ultimately became a great basilica, the Basilica of Our Lady of the Rosary. And it's still there, and it's visited by millions of people every year, where, of course, Bartolo Longo himself is buried, was buried in 1926.
I want to talk about how he's relevant today, and also, his story of kind of redemption and how that can apply to anyone.
Well, that's right. In an era in which so many are drawn to the occult now, to the false mysticism, to seances, to the New Age movement, Bartolo Longo, I think, stands as a real representative of no matter how deep you seem to fall into this darkness, that there is always hope, that there is that opportunity for conversion, for repentance. When we look at his life, he seems so far away from the sacraments, from hope. And yet here is somebody who, with the help of those around him, especially that Dominican priest, but especially the rosary, he came back to the faith. And as a member of the Order of the Holy Sepulchre, which I have the great privilege of being, he was given that honor of knighthood.
Wow.
And in fact is buried in the magnificent shrine in Pompeii in his knight's cloak. So no matter how bad it may seem in your life right now, turn to Our Lady, turn to the Rosary.
Mm-hmm. We always say that. Matthew, thank you so much for being here with us.
A great privilege to be with you.